welcome to the Bleachers Sports Talk. I'm Jason. He's Roger. We're talking sports. Roger, what's new?
Well, thank you, Jason, and welcome again to our listeners out there and viewers. Real quickly, just want to do a little bit of housekeeping here. We really appreciate the people that are bringing their votes in for the naming of our new show. We've cut it down to 5 right now, and we've had quite a few selections, but we had to cut it down to 5. We thank those who made a nomination. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in this order. Time out. And if you want to vote, we'll tell you in a minute how to do that. Time out. Cheap seats is number 2. 3 is just our opinion. 4 is 2 guys talking sports. And 5 is the Bleachers report, which has to be changed, by the way, because I hear legally we may not be able to do that. But again, it's time out, cheap seats, just our opinion, 2 guys talking sports, and the Bleachers report. You got until the end of Wednesday to get your vote in. That leads me to my next topic here. And the next topic is that we are now set up with a Facebook page. And the Facebook page is simply the Bleacher Sports Report with Jason and Roger. If you are on Facebook and have not been invited, please go to the Facebook page. You can be invited and join. And that's where most of the information is going to be. The names of the shows, you can vote through Wednesday. It's all up there. Shows, previous shows, and all that will be up there as well. Enough with that. We're going to go right to the gist of the program, and we're going to start with some headlines that popped up recently over the weekend that Japanese baseball starting June 19th without fans. Also, one of my favorite headlines, the Baby Shark feature of the Washington Nationals will be, yeah, you got it, will be highlighted in their World Series ring and the ceremony and all that. That is going to be fun to watch. And also a headline that we're not getting into, but it sort of, catches my attention here, that Snydergaard out of the Syndergaard, what did I say? Snydergaard. Syndergaard of the New York Mets is suing the landlord, his landlord, for something. We might get into that later, but that's just sort of interesting piece of information. NBA, quick news. Patrick Ewing, the great superstar from the New York Knicks, is out of the hospital. He is now coaching Georgetown. Good wishes for him to a speedy recovery. And get this, Jason, you got to hear this. Andre Drummond of the Cleveland Cavaliers left a $1,000 tip after eating at a restaurant.
Got the money in the bank. Yeah. Shout out what you drink.
That Jerry Sloan passed away at the age of 78 over the weekend. He was one of my players that I followed in his early career out of the Chicago Bulls back into the 70s. He goes back to. NFL news, if you didn't catch the golf match, Peyton Manning, Tiger Woods defeated Pete Mickelson, and TB.
I knew they
did look okay. Give me a break now. And also Eli Manning.
Tom Brady, he said, I'm a terrible golfer. I haven't practiced. He's been concentrating on football this year because he wants to go win another ring.
Hey, do you blame the guy?
No.
And finally, in that part of it, what was interesting, and we didn't really want to get too much into detail, but I understand. I didn't watch any of it, really. I mean, I love Tom Brady as a player, football, not golf as much, but every shot, now maybe not every shot, I heard there were a lot of celebrities and sports stars in particular that were offering money to people to make their shot or to come within 10 feet of the hole. And if I might be incorrect in saying this, Russell Wilson is donating 300,000 meals because 3 of the golfers got within 12 feet of a par 3 hole. And guess who the fourth one was that didn't? The fourth player didn't do this. Who do you think?
I didn't watch it, so I was watching soccer instead. So
Let's take a guess. You got Peyton Manning, you got Tom Brady, you got Pete Mickelson,
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods.
Tiger.
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 He was the one who didn't do it. He's the best of them all, and he didn't do it. I thought that was sort of hilarious that he was the one that didn't get it. But great thing for Russell Wilson to do by donating all the meals. Quickly in hockey, the only thing I can talk about really right now is the playoff system is now going to have 24 teams, it looks like. It looks like. And what is going to happen is you're going to take the top 4 seeds out of each conference. The 2 conferences will have 4 teams each. Then you will take the 8 wild card teams from each conference. Total of 12 on each conference. The 8 teams will then play in games. It will be a best of 5. You'll get 4 teams out of that. And then they'll go up against the number 1, 2, and 3, and 4 seeds out of each conference.
I could have used a little more cowbell.
I don't like the idea.
Yeah, fellas, you're gonna want that cowbell.
But it's going to be more hockey, so I'm all for it, I guess.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you don't like it being playoffs or whatever, you just kind of think of that next couple of weeks as like an extension of the season, because it's not really. You said.
I'll be honest, fellas, it was sounding great, but I could have used a little more cowbell.
When we weren't talking when we weren't recording, you told me you felt like it was rewarding teams for having a bad season, but you have to remember they didn't have a full season, and it's not really a reward, it's a compensation.
On 75 for $10,000. $10,000. You just won $10,000.
And if they really do suck, they're not going to win anyway.
But it always happens that some team's going to get hot at the right time and make a run that shouldn't have made a run. I mean, I was surprised that all 24 teams are going to, and it's not a set deal yet. The owners still have to vote on it. The players approved of it themselves, the association, that all 24 teams did have at least a 500 record or better. So it goes from there. So that's all I got as far as the sports headlines. Back to you. You got a little soccer for us.
Yeah, so over the weekend we had on the Bundesliga we had match day 27, and of course FC Bayern München is still in first place, and right under them is Borussia Dortmund.
You're disturbing my sleep. Oh, you're talking soccer, that's why.
Well, next time you talk golf, see what happens.
That's going to be a subject matter.
All right. But the real upset is that Red Bull's Leipzig moved up to 3rd place. So, by the way, tomorrow is the next match you've got at 9:30. I think it's on FS1. FC Bayern München, which is the number 1 team, playing Borussia Dortmund, the number 2 team. So it's going to be a super intense match. Both of those teams looked really good Sunday, which was yesterday, right? Well, no.
What did you say?
Anyway, we're recording this on Monday. We wouldn't normally do that. So I'm messing up my days. So Tuesday morning, 9:30, soccer. That's all I got.
I got a little nap in there. Hey, listen, that's what we're supposed to do. Tell the truth. I'm not a soccer fan. That's going to be
Who's your favorite quarterback?
Tom Brady. Okay, let's get into the real. This is live. We're taping live, obviously, and we're gonna edit out the bad parts. But hey, this is what it's all about. Live media. Okay.
I'm not gonna cut that out. I think.
Oh, by the way, I want you to say hello to my bobblehead, buddy, the Blue Blob. There's two of them actually.
What is
those that know me know that the Blue Blob is one of my Xavier bobbleheads that I collect religiously.
Oh, it's the Xavier.
Yeah, all for one. It's the All for One Club is what they call their
One for all for one.
Alumni Association.
I'm wearing my FC Cincinnati gear today, and their main sponsor is Mercy Health. So shout out to all the health workers that are getting.
Yeah, we should do that. That's good.
Without them, we wouldn't. We'd probably all be dead. So thank you. And we're gonna do this new thing, and you can tell me in the comments if you like it or not, but I think it'll be fun. So what we're going to do is I've got 10 topics, and I'm going to call out the topic and give Roger 30 seconds to talk on each topic. When the time is up, he gets the air horn because that's fun. And if he doesn't have anything to say about the topics, we'll just move on to the next one. And then come back later, maybe. But we're going to call this section Roger's Rapid Rants.
So you wait here while Daddy tries to talk some sense to this ring down.
Say it with me, Roger. Can you say it?
I got it.
Roger's
Rabbit. I can't even say it. Roger's Rabbit Rants. That's the 3 R's. Go ahead. I'm ready anytime.
All right. So the first topic.
And I don't know if he's going in. I don't know anything we have not prepared for this. So if it's about soccer, I'm going to pass.
All right. Well, we'll only give you 2 passes.
Okay.
Right.
The rules can be added as we go. Go ahead.
I mean, 3 strikes, 3 strikes, 3 strikes. You're out, right? So.
You're out of here! What?
Top sporting events of all time. Go.
Top sporting events of all time. I would say the Miracle on Ice probably comes to mind because of the fact that the Americans were not expected to beat the Russians. And a lot of people think that beating Russia was the gold medal game. It was not. They had to beat Finland in the next game for the championship. It was in Lake Placid, New York, and it was a great time. And that's for my lifetime is the big event. You didn't buzz me.
You didn't even talk full 30 seconds.
Wow, that's unusual for me not to be talking.
That's a record. Okay. Browns move to Baltimore. Go.
Browns moved to Baltimore. I know Art Modell was the owner at the time of the Cleveland Browns, and he is the most hated person. He's passed since, but him and his family are very hated in Cleveland. Moving to Baltimore, and the Ravens winning a Super Bowl that could have been in Cleveland. Cleveland got the raw deal out of that, and the fans have every right to be upset with that move in the middle of the night, sort of like the Baltimore franchise going to Indianapolis.
You still haven't gotten
You just like buzzing.
I do.
Surprised I can get it under 30 seconds?
Actually, yeah, I am. How long have I known you? Like my whole life?
Well, most of it, that's for sure.
All right. Well, you already covered that one, so I'll have to make something up here in a minute. All right. Steroids and drug use in sports. Go.
Steroids and drugs have no place in sports. It will taint any sport that it's already, affected. I mean, baseball is probably the number one. Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Rafael Palmeiro. The list goes on. A-Rod. Some of these guys will never get into Hall of Fame because of it. It was a terrible thing. Should the records mainly Barry Bonds, should that still be kept because of the steroid issues? I just don't know. You love doing that.
I do. I need a real air horn. If somebody,
you know what we need to do is we need to send it out to all the wives out there that are listening. So when they're sports-minded husbands or boyfriends, or both maybe, talk sports and they want to shut them up. I know my wife Carol would love one of those. Maybe we can market them. Okay. Okay, go ahead.
we gotta keep moving here. All right. I guess we have on here the top players in each major sport. Go.
Now we're talking current or all time?
It just says top players, so it could be all time, I guess.
Okay, Tom Brady, Wayne Gretzky are my two favorites in their respective sports. Baseball, well, let me go to basketball. I think Michael Jordan, probably LeBron James a second. I think you can, what I will say is you have to judge a player's excellence in the time era that they played. So Oscar Robertson is the guy I grew up with. He was a great player, even though he went to that other school in Cincinnati. Of course, I'm a Xavier fan. But I think those guys, Tom Brady, Wayne Gretzky, baseball, Johnny Bench is right there as far as one of the best I've seen. So
I even gave you an extra 10 seconds on that one because we were talking through it.
Thank you.
All right, here's one for you. Major League Baseball's universal designated hitter. Go.
We went into that a little bit on, I think it was our second, maybe our first show. We've only had 3, I shouldn't forget. But get to the point, Roger. I don't like it. I'm a purist. I think the American League is different in that sense, which is fine. They let it go, keep it. But I still like pitchers hitting and the strategy that managers have to make towards the middle to end of the game as far as double switches and all. It just is too easy to say, here's my DH. It's more exciting, don't get me wrong, but it's not baseball.
Oh, well, you finished that one quick. All right. Why don't you like soccer? Go.
Why don't I like soccer? I will say before I get the soccer fans upset at me, I do respect soccer players because they have to be in shape, and there's a lot of running, you got to be in great shape. To me, for my cup of tea, I'm not a big soccer fan because it's too slow paced for me. Now, sometimes it can be, I guess if you got two equally talented teams, it'll be great. But I like scoring. I don't want a 10-9 game, but I want a 3-2 game. Hockey is more my, I relate it a little bit to hockey. Hockey can be a 3-2 great game. I don't like 1-0 games.
So you should check the Bundesliga scores. It's not 1-0 games. It's a lot more than that. I mean, you had a couple of games that had the Bayern München game had 7 goals total.
I'll tell you what, Jason. Here's the deal. You admit or you print out on your shirt or something that Tom Brady is the greatest of all time.
Nope.
And then what I'll do is I'll watch 5 minutes of soccer that you tell me. Is that a deal?
That's not even nearly fair.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll. Okay,
do I get the burn to sign afterwards?
I'm sorry?
Do I get to burn the sign afterwards?
You can do it. You know what? Quick story. And this is rambling. I got 30 seconds, right? Or else you're going to buzz me.
No, I got 3 more left.
I got a friend. I told him I would take him to the New England Cincinnati game. I got a ticket through a charity. And I said, but you got to wear a Tom Brady shirt. He hates Tom Brady. I said, you wouldn't go to a Bengal. He's a big Bengal. He wouldn't do it. I said, all you're doing is wearing a shirt. You're going to see your team play, and then you can burn it. Wouldn't do it. Okay, go ahead.
There.
That's, by the way, Dave out there. He's a listener and watcher. Dave.
How has sports memorabilia collecting changed over the years? Go.
Well, we have to prelude by saying that I am been in the business since 1983.
My last birthday cake, I couldn't blow out the candles. The heat drove me back.
So that's a long time, 37 years if my math is correct. A lot of it now is not for the pure fun of it, whereas growing up as a kid, most kids got it for bubble gum.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick.
And just the fun of it. Now it's got to become a probably multi-billion-dollar different business. And it's just, I still collect cards. I collect my bobbleheads. I'm almost at 600. So, for me, it's 99% fun. I do sell a little bit on the side, but I think the bottom line is, and more directly to your point, it's become more of a business now than a collection.
Okay, well, I don't have to buzz you because you didn't take too long. Okay, sports and technology. How has instant replay changed sports?
Well, we're going to get into this at a later topic because it would take me a long time to tell people my personal opinion is I hate the instant replay. I love the fact that umpires, referees, whatever sport it is, they're humans. They're going to make mistakes. A good umpire, a good referee, a good official, whatever sport, they're going to make up for it at some point. If they know they made a bad call, they're going to subconsciously or consciously, I should say, make the call to reverse that. So I hate it. I knew that was coming because you know how much I hate the instant replay.
Yeah.
And we're going to devote a whole show on that. And by the way, I
don't like it either, but a lot of people do, and I understand why. But I just don't think it's used properly. The XFL did a pretty good job.
I will say one thing. We want some fan participation. We'll mention the Facebook page, the YouTube page before we sign off. But if you disagree or agree or have your own opinion, we'll read it on the air.
Yeah.
We'll read it on. If John Blow from St. Louis, is on and says, comments and says, I totally disagree. You guys are jerks for saying this. We might leave the jerks out, but we'll say you're totally wrong or something, maybe. I don't know. But no, we want the fan support and the fan reaction and response to what we're saying. So I can see people, I have it all the time. I mean, go ahead.
All right, last one. And then we're wrapping up Roger's rapid rants that weren't so rapid today, but that's okay. What sport are you most excited for post-coronavirus lockdown and why? And everybody else should comment below too. Okay, Roger, go.
I think the NFL. I'm a bigger hockey fan than football, but I think the NFL is not going to be, hopefully it won't be interrupted at all with their season. It'll be there's so much that went on in the off season. Free agents, quarterbacks changing cities and teams. It's going to be real interesting. I think let's hope that there is an NFL season of some sort that we can see these teams. I know here in Cincinnati, where I'm out of, they're looking forward to Joe Burrow playing and doing something. And that's my answer.
Okay, well, I almost buzzed you, but you made it. No, I would agree. I mean, I'm already excited about soccer being back already. And, it was entertained, like you were talking about with KBO, they're piping in fan noises and stuff. They were already doing that. And
3 hours later.
And
6.5 hours later.
I lived over there for 3 years.
Day 2.
I mean, English Premier League has a lot of big talent too, but I think the Bundesliga is it's like the fastest paced. So they got like a lot of young talent that's really fast.
Day 3, day 4.
And you were saying that you thought soccer was slow and stuff, and that's what I used to think before I went to Germany. That's what I used to think.
3 weeks later.
And then I saw European style of soccer, and it's like super fast, Roger. I mean, it's like hockey. See, I have one, you don't.
Well, I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna get one of those apps.
Ham Horn,
thank you. We gave him a promotion or an advertisement there. Not big thing, but we were going over greatest numbers in the NHL that they're retiring and all that. That we had. I think we had 31 last time, and I said that Grant Fuhr won that number, and I think the voting is still going on. But this week I saw Salming, Makita, and Forsberg, number 21.
Number 21.
Of all those three, and I didn't see much of any Makita and Salming that much. But Forsberg, to me, still wins it out. I think he has. You're not going to get your Toronto and Chicago fans too happy about that, but Forsberg wins that out for me. So just to throw that in.
I'd have to agree with you. I didn't see much of the other two guys. I mean, I think Makita was probably before my time, right?
Well, Makita came on like in the 60s, 70s.
So
Salming played, I want to say, in the 70s, 80s, maybe into the 90s.
I might have seen him a little bit, but he was probably older then. But for Forsberg, I remember how good he was. And I've watched him play, and so I know for a fact that he's, one of the best probably to wear that number. The other guys, I'd have to look at the videos that they make and see.
Well, we're wrapping this up because I gotta get out of here. That's okay. I think we're done. You can't understand. Now, I'm still talking because I can go 30 seconds without breathing. So this is up to you to record or not.
Roger, I think you can go 30 minutes without breathing.
But that's all I say. I do want to add one last thing for our viewing, listening audience. We really appreciate the nominations for the show. Again, this is really all you need to know is if you go, and I'm looking up at my screen to make sure everything is apropos here, the Bleachers Sports Report with Roger and Jason. If you go to Facebook and search that group, you can join if you have not got an invitation personally from us. It's, again, the Bleachers Sports Report with Roger and Jason. That is the name of our page on Facebook. And that will have all our videos and all sorts of information and little stuff. We might play a little trivia games with people, and the winner, first one who gets it right, might win a bobblehead. I'm done.
They'll win that.
I'm done. Thanks for listening and watching, guys.
All right, thanks everybody. Have a fun whatever day you watch this. I'm trying to stop the recording now.